Come and take a journey with me. Let me show you a vision everyone can see. Oh, meet me. Oh, meet me on the other side.
I want you to imagine something with me. It's a Tuesday morning and it's overcast. The kind of sky that makes everything seem a little heavier than it should. Not really hot, not really cold, just kind of muggy. I'm sitting in my car outside of a house I've never been to before. And all I have is a case file open on my lap. I've read it 2 or 3 times. I know what's behind that door, or at least I think I do. I also know that whatever happens in the next hour, somebody's life is going to change. Maybe it's a child, maybe it's a parent's life, or maybe it's mine. That's what life was like for me for about 19 years or better. 19 years of sitting in cars outside of doors, of walking into the lives of people at their weakest moments, making decisions for situations that I had no training could ever really prepare you for. And for 19 years, I didn't talk about it. Not because I didn't have anything to say, but because in this field, you really just don't talk about it. Wait, you mean you've never heard this story before? This isn't a fairy tale? You don't know how this story ends? You mean you and your friends don't discuss things like this over your brunch? Let Auntie share some things with you about a taboo topic of CPS. Welcome to From the Other Side. I'm Michelle Walker, and for 19 years, I worked in Child Protective Services. I started as a frontline worker, the person that comes to your door for that first introduction into the system. I made the school visits and the home visits, the hospital visits. I interviewed the children and wrote the reports. I eventually became the supervisor, a person who trained others to guide workers, and then a screener, a person who works to determine if the concerns that are called in even reach the point of an investigation. I spent nearly 2 decades inside a system that most people only ever see from the outside, from the news and from social media, and from their own front door, when a stranger with a badge and a folder shows up unannounced. This podcast is called From the Other Side because that's exactly where I sit. Not the side that gets reported on, not the side that goes viral, but from the other side, the side that drives home at night wondering if they made the right call, the side that wonders, hopefully, one of those assigned cases won't have her name on it after being neglectful of her own children out saving others. The side that carries the weight of a system that was never fully really designed to carry. And now, for the first time, I'm talking about it. This podcast is for anyone who's ever had to be touched by the child welfare system, for the families who've gone through the system, currently in the middle of an investigation, or recently being introduced to a CPS investigation, and still don't fully understand why. For the current and the former workers who've been carrying things they never were allowed to say out loud. For the advocates and the mandated reporters and the policymakers who want a real view from the inside. And for anyone who's ever had to ask the question, why my family? And how did I get here? Or more importantly, how do I navigate the system and what should my next steps be? But before we go any further, quick note. Everything I share on this podcast will reflect my personal and professional experience. Only my perspective. I will never share any identifying information about any particular case or individual. This is not legal advice. This is not a commentary on any specific agency. This is one person's honest account of 19 years in a complicated system that was often misunderstood. Okay, With that said, let's get into it. So why is CPS called, or not called, a taboo subject? Why aren't people talking about it? Speaking as a former worker, one of the biggest reasons CPS is so taboo is fear. Simple and plain. Fear that someone will find out that you don't have it all together. Fear that people will question your parenting skills. Fear that people will judge your everyday life. Plain and simple. Fear. And what do we do when we act out in fear? That can show up in many different ways. But I'll let you in on a few secrets. One, the worker that knocked on your door is human. And most of the time, you're just trying to figure life out too. I've knocked on hundreds of doors, never with advance notice, never with a script, and never with anything planned. Ask the questions. If you don't understand, ask again. Let's see. CPS involvement is oftentimes more about risk of harm versus actual harm. But because someone raised the question, there's a procedure that must be followed to determine whether there's risk or if it's something more serious. Lastly, when something is mysterious or scary, we tend not to talk about it, like taxes or debts or death. But the caseloads of the workers, somebody's talking about it. Just like insurance, you buy it because anything can happen. You talk about it because anything can happen. But if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. The reality is that the average worker handles about 25 to 35 cases per month. That's being very modest. If one case has 3 or more children, those numbers stack up fast. Navigating a state system like CPS can be very frightening for anybody. If you're someone who has been through an investigation, whether it ended the way you wanted it to end or still going through it, I want you to know this show is for you. This is a safe space for you. In part, not to make an excuse of everyday decisions that were ever made, but to help you understand and navigate the system just a little better and make a little more sense of what happened, and to give some context you probably never got. If you're a current or former worker, I see you. I know what you're going through. The cases that never stop, the supervisors with all the questions, and the deadlines that keep stacking up. And I know how much of it you've never been able to talk about or put in a box and put it on a shelf, because unlike other jobs, you don't get that chance to turn it off at 5 o'clock. And if you're someone who has never been close to the system at all, but just want to understand the system a little better, welcome to the other side, because this place is where the conversation starts. This belongs to everyone. Children Protective Services, Adult Protective Services, they are both state systems designed to help the public. And we all deserve to understand just a little more about how it actually works from the other side. But now I know why it started. Because silence has a cost. That cost can be high. But we all have paid it long enough. Feel free to use the link in the description down below for drop show ideas, take a look at upcoming episodes. If you have questions on how to navigate the system, let me know. And I will see you next time on From the Other Side.
Come and take a journey with me. Let me show you a vision everyone can see. Oh, meet me on the other side.